All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Southern Broadcast Gaming Network. I am Richard Hurston. Tonight we are with the Genesis Cup Series, aka Old Glory Racing League. Tonight we are here at the first race of the round of 8, and it's going to be an exciting one. Even though we only have about 10 drivers loaded into the race, let's take a look at those points as we're coming into the round of 8. And it looks like Stephen Light is going to be in that top spot with 2,009 points. Scott Healy going to be about 6 points down from first position. With 2003, Darren Bruce is going to be sitting at 2002 in third. Cody Johnson is going to be sitting at 2001. So that's going to be your top 4. Curtis Ecker is going to be right there in 5th. Chris Isaacs in 6th. 7th is going to belong to Mark Kincaid, and Nathan Lafayette is going to be in 8th. Now, most of these drivers are here at the racetrack, but one, and that is going to be 4th place of Cody Johnson. So you're gonna see Mark Kincaid, Nathan Lafayette. We're gonna see Curtis Ecker and Chris Isaacs battle it out for that 4th spot. Now you have to be in the top 4 to advance to the playoff round. Next week they will be at Talladega for the last race of the round of 8, and then we will go to our championship race. But it looks like they got about 29 seconds left of qualifying. Let's go ahead and step aside, listen to our beautiful national anthem, and we will be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, it looks like we got a couple cars out there on the track right now trying to put in a blazing qualifying lap. Right now, we are riding with Chris Isaacs. Right now, he's holding that 3rd position with Stephen Light right on the pole as of right now. Those times are subject to change as everybody puts in their laps. Still got about 5 drivers left to put in their laps. Mark Kincaid going to jump up to that 3rd position. Curtis Ecker is right now sitting in 4th. James Metarood out there for Metarood Racing. Good to see him here tonight. Saw him last night in the Truck Series. And if you did miss that Truck Series race, definitely go back and check it out because that was a lot of green flag racing. Only a few trucks on the lead lap. Strategies were playing in with that race, so it made it very exciting to see them go green flag racing for every single lap. Well, tonight's race will be 200 laps with about 65% fuel. About 4 sets of tires, and about 106 laps of for a fuel window. One fast repair and 3 green and white checkered attempts. Now, I have heard from a few of the drivers that turn 4 can be very tricky, as these cars will break loose coming out of turn number 4. So we'll be looking out for that. We got a few viewers out there in on the stream, so we appreciate y'all stopping by and spending your Wednesday night with us. I do believe mostly everybody is going to be finished with their laps. It looks like Joel Munchel and Christopher Alcar need to put in a lap time to see where they stack up. But as of right now, we're waiting for them to finish up qualifying. So we are going to step aside and take a look at our race sponsors.
Are you a veteran or currently serving? Or perhaps you're a civilian that has a veteran in your life? We want to stack up with you. StackUp.org brings both veterans and civilians together through a shared love of gaming. StackUp serves not only active duty troops and veterans in the U.S., but also our allies throughout the world. We do this through 4 primary programs. Supply crates, giant boxes of the latest in games and gear sent to active duty troops and veterans to raise morale, build camaraderie, and help combat post-traumatic stress. Air assaults, where we fly deserving veterans to life-changing gaming and geek culture events. The Stacks, our local volunteer teams coming together to support military personnel around their community. And our Stop Squad, Stack Up suicide awareness and mental health support team. Our trained volunteers are on call 24/7 if you're looking to talk with someone about your problems. We're here to help. Please reach out to us through StackUp.org to find out how we can support you or the veteran in your life today.
All right, and we are back, and it looks like SDK has frozen up on me, so I'm going to have to shut it down and reload it real quick. Hopefully before everybody gets loaded in. Uh-oh. 1 second. So give me 1 second. SDK, it did mess up on me, and it is pretty much locked on screen. It won't do anything, so we're going to have to Control-Alt-Delete it and see if we can get it back, because it's definitely giving me the wrong information. But it looks like everybody is getting ready to go green, and a green flag is out, and it looks like Stephen Light is going to bring him to the start-finish line, and he is going to have the advantage on that inside lane coming into turn number 1 and out of turn number 2. It looks like Scott Healy is going to be able to take over the number 1 spot on that outside lane. Really good job of making that pass. Darren Bruce going to be sitting right there in the third. And maybe we got everything back. Sorry about that. And there was your starting order, and it looks like Stephen Light was able to take the pole position. Scott Healy started in second, Darren Bruce in third, Mark Kincaid in fourth, Nathan Lafayette in fifth, Curtis Acker in sixth, seventh is going to be Chris Isaacs, James Vanderrood in eighth, Joe Munchell in ninth, and Chris Alkire in 10th. Well, it looks like they've gotten everything figured out on the track. I got everything figured out, so we will go get rid of this and go back to the racing action. Lap number 4 of 200, and is going to be Scott Healy. He is going to be out here leading the race. It looks like we had a little bit of a wiggle out of the 99 coming off of turn number 4, and that is the turn that we were talking about earlier on. But we'll go back through the field. It looks like Scott Healy is going to be up one position. Down one position is going to be Stephen Light. Darren Bruce is going to be right there in third. Mark Kincaid is going to be in fourth, right there where he started. Curtis Ecker is on a mission here tonight. He has got to beat Chris Isaacs to stay above him in points. So he is going to be running in fifth. Chris Isaacs now in sixth. And he is going to be up one position. Nathan Lafayette, he is going to be down 2 positions and running in seventh. Joe Munchell right there behind Nathan Lafayette, all over the back bumper of that 00. He is going to be right there in 8th position, up 1 position. Christopher Alkire going to be up 1 position, riding in 9th. And James Vanderrood from Vanderrood Racing, he is going to be in 10th. Oh, and he's going to get sideways, and that is the turn number 4 that we were talking about. So he sent it right to the pits. I hate to see that, but here comes Scott Healy out of turn number 4, and he is going to be making some pretty good time here. Oops, sorry about that. Making some pretty good time as he is broken away. Let's go to the tower. He is broken away to about 0.8 of a second lead over Stephen Light, and Light has broken away about 0.8 of a second from Darren Bruce. So far, all green flag racing here at lap number 10, and Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford are in your top 3. So it is. And let me remind you that Scott Healy is going to be the only Toyota in this race. But we'll go back through the field and see if we can find any kind of battle. And really, the only battle on the track is going to be this one right here. These two are the closest. It looks like Joel Munchell, he is going to look to the top side of that Genesis number 3, driven by Chris Isaacs, and he is going to be able to make the pass, or try to make the pass, on the outside coming into turn number 1. It is going to be Joel Munchell is going to be leading Chris Isaacs. As of right now, gets another little run coming off to turn number 2, and he has his nose out there, but not able to complete the pass, as that number 3 is really doing a good job on that bottom side. And now he is going to be able to make the pass. And there is Chris Isaacs from that gearbox cam trying to get back up there. And Joe Munchell is going to be now the biggest mover. Now, last night's truck race was pretty exciting. Only 2 cars on the lead lap. And I wonder if we're going to see that again here tonight, because Chris Alkire, he's fallen off to about 11 seconds behind the leader. And let's take a look at their last lap times. And it looks like they're going to be looking at 18 seconds for a lap time. 18.92 was Scott Healy's. 19.03 for Stephen Light. Now, Stephen Light could be sitting back, saving a little bit of tires, but it looks like Darren Bruce is going to be a little bit faster, with Mark Kincaid sitting in 4th, and Curtis Ecker going to be a little bit faster than Mark Kincaid. Not that lap, as the times do change. Looks like Stephen Light and Healy are going to be pretty much matched with the same lap time. Joe Munchel putting down some pretty fast laps, not as fast as the leaders, but he is at a 19.1 with everybody else sitting at 19.2s beside the leaders, and Bruce about a 19.1 also. 6 viewers out there on the chat. Appreciate y'all stopping by. We will throw the track map up there so you can see where everybody is sitting on the track. And there you see the 64 is coming out of turn number 2, and the 43 is just now in the middle of 3 and 4. So 43 might go a lap down within the first, I'd say, 40 laps. He might be caught. We'll go see if we can find any more than one of the movers on the track. Is going to be Joe Munchel. He has got Curtis Ecker in his sights. Curtis Ecker riding in that 5th position, and Joe Munchel wants it. Mark Kincaid doing a pretty darn good job up there in 4th. And Mark Kincaid was worried about making the race tonight, and I'm glad he did. We had to show him some tips and tricks about using hot spots, and so far so good there, Mark. Glad you are here on the track. Now, I'm sorry about that, James. Hate to see your night end very, very soon, but man, glad that you could make it and put another driver out there on the track. Well, if you didn't leave nowhere, you're welcome to join me in the booth, but I don't see you in the Discord. You're always welcome to join me in the booth whenever you want to, so just let me know. If ever you want to do that, just let me know, and I'll bring you on up. Well, it's like Christopher Alkire, he is going to be going one lap down. He is going to give the bottom line to the leaders, and that little battle there is going to allow Stephen Light. He is going to catch up just a little bit now. He is about 0.6 of a second back. Derek Bruce has fallen off, to about 3 seconds from the leader. Mark Kincaid about 5 seconds. Curtis Ecker, he is about 9 seconds, but he has got Joe Munchel right there in front of him, and he has got to make some ground up because he's only about a half a second ahead of Joe Munchel. That car is coming quick. Now Curtis Ecker could be sitting back saving a little bit of tires, but to see him advance to the playoffs would be a very, very awesome thing, considering they do have one more race to get locked in to get up to that top 4, but be a good thing to go ahead and lock it in or get up there to that top 4. So just in case you had the big one at Talladega, it doesn't happen. Now lap 27 of 200 complete. Now the tire fall off is not that bad according to some of these drivers. But we might have a little bit of a lead battle going on here in just a few laps. It looks like Stephen Light has caught up to that number 64 of Scott Healy, and he is going to be bumper to bumper going into turn number 3. And out of turn number 4, it is still going to be bumper to bumper, nose to tail. And here they come into turn 1. And exit of turn 2. And there is the battle side by side as they're coming into turn number 3 and 4. And it looks like Light is going to be able to take the lead. So Stephen Light going to be out there leading this race here at lap number 30. And you know what? While we have a little bit of time, let's go ahead and crank it up. All right, and we are back. Hopefully you enjoyed that just a little bit here at lap 36 of 200. Still a lot of green flag laps left to go, and it looks like we've got one car out, one car one lap down, and it looks like Chris Isaac is looking to go a lap down himself if he doesn't pick up that pace. Now we'll show you the tower and show you how much. How far away he is. He's got Stephen Light right there on his inside. He's going to be making the pass, and that's going to put Chris Isaac's first car one lap down. Now only 9 cars on the track, and the next victim will be that 00 of Nathan. So Stephen Light trying to make it up to that back bumper. Scott Healy has fallen off to about 1.1 seconds off the lead car. So everybody in pursuit of that 99. Joe Munchel, he is going to be not too far. He is going to be about 6 seconds ahead of of Nathan Lafayette. So he is not at jeopardy of going one lap down. Curtis Ecker is going to be about 13 seconds behind the leader. So he is going to be about 2 seconds. He is made up of about 2 seconds off the 69, so he has actually extended his lead over the 69. So he's got a little bit of room. "121 miles an hour coming down the front stretch for Curtis Ecker, slowing that bad boy down, getting on the gas, coming out of turn number 2. We'll put the track map up so you can see where they are at on the track, and you see the 19 coming out of turn number 4, riding that really low line, and you can see he is downshifting, trying to get that car to rotate. We'll go back up front and see how this is going on, and it looks like Nathan Lafayette is going to one lap down. Actually, he has one lap down. There is Scott Healy. He is going to be making the pass. The only Toyota in the race. He is running in second place. Well, Darren Bruce doing a pretty darn good job holding on to about 5.5 seconds back from the leaders, and it looks like Mark Kincaid did blink out just a little bit, but he is in no big trouble at all because he doesn't have anybody around him, so he doesn't have to worry about flashing in front of somebody. But he is still riding about 2 seconds back from Darren Bruce. And he looks like he is maybe running a little bit faster, so we'll go and take a look. Yeah, he is just a little bit faster than Derek Bruce, so we could see him catch up as we are almost at a quarter of a way finished with a North Wilkesboro race, the first race of the round of 8 with the Genesis Cup Series. And we'll go back to the gap so you can see how far back. And it looks like Joe Munchel, he has really fallen off now about 3 seconds. And these two are pretty much the closest. Joe Munchel and Nathan Lafayette. Joe Munchel just went a lap, or he is still on the lead lap. He's only about I'd say about 4 seconds ahead of the leaders. So he's got to pick up the pace just a little bit. There he is coming down to turn number 2, and the leaders are right there in the middle of 3 and 4. So Christopher Alcar going to be 2 laps down. The 2 that I'm going to be looking at are these 2 right here, the 3 and the 00. They are battling it out maybe for that lucky dog spot if the caution were to come out. And there you see Christopher Alcar. He's going to be still out there on the track. He's going to be trying to get his laps back the hard way in that number 43 stack-up Ford Mustang. Now that 64 of Scott Healy has fallen back to about 9/10 of a second gap between those two. And it looks like Stephen Light has a little bit better exit coming off of turn number 2 and coming into turn number 3. And it looks like that 64 is able to get in the turn, but he just does not have the exit off the corners. He is able to get that car into the turn a little bit better than the 99, but just losing a lot of time coming off those corners. Now this could be a little bit of tire strategy. This could be a little bit of fuel strategy, maybe off the corners. Or off the gas, coming into the corners a lot earlier. The pit window will be about 106 laps according to iRacing. But maybe he's trying to go the distance instead of going for speed. Darren Bruce has found himself in a little bit of a hornet's nest as he has got a little bit of lap traffic to deal with. He has fallen back to about 6 seconds, 6.5 seconds to be exact. And he has got Chris Isaacs right there behind him. He's got the 00 of Nathan Lafayette in front of him. So he's got a couple of lap down cars right there in his windshield and in his rear view mirror. So let's see how he navigates his way around this lap traffic. There he is coming into turn number 3. He can see the 00 right there in front of him coming out of turn number 4. So far, we have only seen one car be taken out, and that was the 55 of James Manderud. And Nathan Lafayette, he is going to be very slow coming into turn number 2. But he did have a good run off, so he was able to keep that 27 at bay and keep him behind him. 5 cars on the lead lap. Joel Munchell is going to be the last car on the lead lap, and the leaders are going to be right there, not too far away from him. He is coming out of turn number 4, and they are entering in 3 and 4. There you saw him coming into the picture, and we're going to take a look from his gearbox cam, and there is the leader. There is going to be Stephen Light, and that's going to make only 4 cars on the lead lap if they are able to catch him and make that pass. We still have 140 laps here to go as this leader crosses over the start-finish line. Now riding on board with the 99 of Stephen Light, and we'll go to his cockpit cam and see how he is doing. There you see he's still running about 19.6 according to his car dashboard there. And it looks like he's got a pretty good handle on that Chevrolet Camaro. And Healy has fallen back to about 1.2 seconds. There you see Joe Munchell right there in front of him. A little bit of wiggle coming off of turn number 2, but no harm, no foul. Didn't rub the wall or anything. Chris Alkire is going to be in the pits as of right now. And it looks like he is going to go ahead and take some tires. Now it's very interesting to see him in. Now they can go a long ways on fuel, and they can make this a one pit stop shop. But we'll have to see. And they have said that pit exit is very, very sketchy. And let's go back to Chris Alkire as we are on the pit road cam, and let's see how he does. And it looks like he has a little bit of right front damage. And let's take that tower off, and yes, he does. So he has had a little bit of contact with the wall on the right side. So he is going to be in the pits getting that fixed. Let's go catch back up with the 99. And it looks like that car is nice and clean. Joe Munchell is going to be a lap down, and there you can get a good look of the back of that Camaro for autism awareness on that 99. Now Curtis Eckert running in the 4th position. He needs a good finish here, and it looks like he might be in jeopardy of going 1 lap down himself, as Stephen Light has made it around Joe Munchell. Now he's got him in the sights. It kind of reminds me of Atlanta last night in the truck race. Only 2 cars on the lead lap, and you know, it was a very good finish. You had Marshall Johnson. He was able to bring home the win. And you had Zach Stevens coming in second. So really good job by them. And let's go take a look at how Healy is doing getting around Joe Munchell. Joe Munchell still on that outside. He's going to allow Healy to get on the bottom side and make the pass. So he is going to be the first car 1 lap down. Stephen Light still coming. He's coming out of turn number 4, crossing the start-finish line. Curtis Eckert is just now entering in turn number 1. So he's got to make up. He's got to really put down some time on the racetrack to keep Stephen Light behind him. We'll take a look at the last lap times, and it looks like he is actually a little bit faster than the leader. 19.86, so actually he is tied with the leader, so the leader is not gaining any time but not losing any time. So that is going to be a good job by Curtis Eckert running in 4th position. Now Darren Bruce, he is falling off to the upper 20s as Curtis Eckert is still in the 19s, about 0.3 of a second faster than that number 27 of Darren Bruce. So let's see if he can actually catch up. Well, look at the gap. He is about 17 seconds back, so he has a lot of catching to do, about 9 seconds. Chris Allgaier bringing his out. He is going to be a 12 laps down. Got to be careful on that pit exit. Now, this is going to be interesting as Chris Allgaier has those 4 fresh feel goods on his car, so that's going to be probably a challenge if the 99 can catch him, and that might be Curtis Eckert's saving grace. We got about 6 viewers out there on the chat. More bad luck, internet laid down on me. Good luck, white line. Well, Mark, I would definitely say you can join me in the booth. Maybe your internet can do a little bit better watching if you want, but that is up to you. Well, Curtis Eckert going to let the 43 right on by, gave him the top lane, and he was able to make the pass. And now Steve Light going to have a little bit of advantage with that little side-by-side battle with Curtis Eckert and Christopher Allgaier. That allowed him to catch up very fast. He's now about a half a second back, now about 0.3 of a second back from the 19, putting him a lap down, and there will only be 3 cars on the lead lap if he is able to make the pass on the 19. Now the 19 probably won't give it up very easily, but this is the finish that he needs if he can keep this car up in the top 4, because Chris Isaacs is a couple cars back from Curtis Eckert. Curtis Eckert way up towards that wall. No contact. Still got that pretty paint job, nice and clean. Now, I'm going to go check something really quick, so just give me a quick moment. And I don't see a stage break tonight. That's very interesting. Well, sorry about the silence there. We do have a stage break coming up in about 14 laps, so that's going to be a good news for Curtis Ecker, as he is the first car 1 lap down. He has got quite a distance between him and Joe Munchel. The 19 and Joe Munchel are pretty much a straightaway away from each other, so he is in no jeopardy of losing this position unless he makes a catastrophic mistake. But so far, he is in a good spot to get his lap back. And then we'll see these cars dive in and get their 4 fresh field goods and top it off with some go-go juice. And here Curtis Ecker is fighting with the 43 again. The 43 cannot make the pass coming out of turn number 2. And Curtis Ecker is not going to have a battle for very long. But it looks like the 43 is going to ride at that higher line and maybe try again coming out of turn number 4. And he has a little bit of a run, but can't get there. As we saw just for a moment, we saw Joe Munchel. He was coming into the picture, and he is coming out of turn number 3. It looks like the 43 is going to be able to make the pass on the outside. Now, this is not for a position, but it's a pretty good battle. But the 43 was able to prevail and make his way around Curtis Ecker. Now, once again, Curtis Ecker has to be very careful. He needs to put down some faster lap times to keep that 69 at bay, or in 10 laps, he will not be on the. He will not be the first car 1 lap down, so he will not get the lucky dog. We'll go back and take a look at the last lap times and see how Curtis Ecker is stacking up to Joe Munchel. And it looks like Joe Munchel was just a little bit slower than Curtis, but we only have 9 laps to go. He is, I'd say he's going to be about, I'm going to say about 3 to 4 seconds back. There you hear a lot of throttle control coming out of the number 19. So he is going to have, possibly a car trying to break loose. So he's got to really feather it coming out of the turns, but it looks to still look like he's handling pretty well. Darren Bruce is still riding in the 3rd position. That's where he started, and he's hoping that's where he is going to finish. Darren Bruce only about 100th of a second. About 400ths of a second faster than Curtis Ecker. And Stephen Light, he is going to be running a little bit slower than his teammate back there in 2nd place, and that's going to be Scott Healy. Scott Healy trying to make his way around the 3 of Chris Isaacs, and he's already made it around Lafayette. So we're going to put the gap back up there. So those 2 cars are going to be 2 laps down. Now we only have 2 cars that are 1 lap down, and that's going to be Joel Munchel and Curtis Ecker. Very close to that wall as he came out of turn number 4, but he was able to keep it out of the wall, coming out of turn number 2. Looking really well. About 3 laps to go as they cross over to start-finish line. Or excuse me, 3 laps to go, and we will see that stage caution, and that is going to be a saving grace for that number 19. Never thought I'd see this many green flag laps at North Wilkesboro, but it's looking pretty darn good from my view. Now this is a battle for position right here, and that's going to be Nathan Lafayette. They are trying to get all the points they can for the stage break, and
caution, yellow flag.
There it is, lap 100. Caution is out. First caution of the night. Pace car zooming around the 99 of Stephen Light. All right, well, we will go ahead and step side by side while they are going to be making their pit stops and take a look at our race sponsors. Stephen, this is Richard up in the booth. You get a copy.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, it looks like that 99 is very fast here at North Wilkesboro, and you have pretty much put everybody but 3 cars a lap or more down. Man, tell us how that car is feeling out there on the track tonight.
Yeah, got a pretty fast Wounded Warrior Chevrolet. Track's just really bad on tires, so I didn't get a very good restart on the initial start of the race. Spun the tires pretty hard off of turn 4 and allowed Scott to get out ahead. So once that happened, I decided to just save some tire there at the start. And Scott was, I don't think he realized how much he was burning his stuff up there that early. So yeah, you got to run 100 laps on these things if you don't get a caution, because you can't obviously pit without going a lap down, and possibly 2 laps down. So I'm going to probably have the same mindset here, just save the tires first 30, 40 laps, and then hopefully these other guys burn their stuff up.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely are running very well, and you got about 96 laps to go. Let's see if we can take it all green flag racing. Good luck, my friend, and hope to talk to you later on.
Appreciate it.
All right, that was the race leader, Stephen Light. Scott Healy going to be sitting in second. And they are going to be double file and getting ready to go green. Darren Bruce going to be sitting in third. Curtis Ecker is going to be starting at
green flag
at the back of the longest line, and the green flag is out, and he's got a lot of work to do to catch up to Darren Bruce. He's got a lot of lap traffic in front of him, so I would just suggest take it easy here and save those tires like Steven was talking about, and make some moves later on. There you see Christopher Alkire. He's going to be right there in front of that number 19. Christopher Alkire trying to get around that number 3 of Chris Isaacs. So it's a battle of the Chris's. Joe Munchel is now the first car 1 lap down. So if a caution does come out, he will be able to get the lap back unless he is involved in it. But they are pretty much single file as far as the eye can see. Well, we know this might go green, so we will go ahead and crank it up one more time. Stay tuned. back. Stephen Light still leading in this race. Scott Healy going to be still in second. Darren Bruce in third, and Curtis Acker is going to be in fourth. Joe Munchell going to be trying to get that lucky dog spot. Actually, he has the lucky dog spot, but he is trying to stay in a safe position just in case the caution does come out. He will get that lap back and be back on the lead lap. But as of right now, he's going to be trapped one lap down. Nathan Lafayette, he is going to be 2 laps down along with Chris Isaacs. And Christopher Alcar going to be 13 laps down. Mark Kincaid going to be showing out, and James Manderbrook is going to be showing out. So 8 cars left on the track. Still got a few viewers out there. Very sorry about the small turnout. Some people are good at these tracks. Some people are not. But I guarantee you that next week, Talladega, this will be a full lobby. Well, I gotta say, if Stephen Light is out here saving tires, along with Scott Healy, they are doing a pretty darn good job of it. But Darren Bruce, he is hanging out right there in third. Got a little bit loose coming out of turn number 4. That is the first mistake I've seen out of that 27, and he did a really good job of holding on to it. No damage to that right rear. So let's see the gap between these 3. And it looks like he is only about 0.7 of a second back. He is still running pretty fast in lap times. Here is going to be the last lap. He's only about a tenth of a second off of the leaders. So still within striking distance. Now Curtis Ecker, he is riding a little bit faster than Darren Bruce, but he is back here along with lap traffic. And I hope he waves as he is riding right on by Chris Isaacs as he is trying to hold on to what he has. He still has to catch Nathan Lafayette to make a position up, and he is a pretty good distance off from Nathan Lafayette. Well, coming to 75 laps to go here in the next lap. It's been all green flag racing except for the stage break, and Stephen Light took the stage win. With it being short tracks, I would have tried to get more drivers in to give them a little bit of airtime, but with it being a very short track and trying to get our sponsors in, wasn't able to bring anybody else up. But were able to talk to Stephen Light, and it looks like him and his teammate are going to be on the same strategy. Darren Bruce is going to fall back now to about 0.9 of a second, now a full second, and it looks like that Ford Mustang is going to be a little bit hard to handle. Curtis Ecker is going to be about 10 seconds back, or 9 seconds back, and 10 seconds ahead of the leader of Stephen Light. So, he's got to pick up that pace to stay on the lead lap. All right, I'm going to steal. Now, it looks like Darren Bruce does have Trent Robinette in his booth. So I'm going to bring him up and see if he can give us a little bit of insight of what's going on with that number 27 of Darren Bruce. Trent Robinette, this is Richard up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I am doing all right. It looks like you're doing a little bit of crew chiefing for Darren Bruce. I just wanted to bring you up here. I wasn't able to interview him, but he's riding pretty darn good in that third spot. You want to give us a little bit of insight of what's going on with that Ford Mustang?
I think he's pushing a little bit. He's fighting a tight race car, but he's doing fine. He's keeping his nose clean, and that's a lot to be said for North Wilkesboro short track.
Absolutely. Now, does he have it? Now, is he going to be back here saving tires? He's fallen off to about 1.7 seconds, so now about 1.6. Has he got anything for the leaders, or is he just trying to hang on to what he has and just hope for that third place?
I think right now he's pretty content where he's at, but yeah, he's saving a little bit. We'll see what happens coming down here, but maybe the leaders will get together and we can be there at the end.
Absolutely. Well, I'll put you back down there and I'll let you go back to your crew chiefing. I appreciate you talking to me up here in the booth, and hope to talk to y'all soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, that was Trent Robinette. That is Darren Bruce's crew chief, and gave us a little bit of insight. Glad that we were able to get in an interview. You know, I don't want to pull a driver up while they're racing, so definitely can throw their concentration off. But you see he is back here saving a little bit of tire and hopefully be there at the end. Well, looks like Curtis Egger is, making some moves on himself. And Joe Munchell, he is going to be one lap down. And looks like Curtis Egger is going to be trying to make some moves as Stephen Light is right there. He does not want to go. he does not want to go a lap down once again. Only 7 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. That is Chris Isaacs. I'm sorry. I thought that was Stephen Light, but Curtis Ecker is trying to make his moves around. If the caution does come out, that will bump them back up. But Joe Munchell, he was the closest car to Curtis Ecker, as they were running pretty similar lap times, and now Curtis Ecker is trying to make the pass with Joe Munchell. Now, Curtis Ecker is about, I'm going to say, if they're running still 19s, he is only going to be about probably about 6 seconds ahead of the leaders, and it's closing fast. So hopefully when the leaders catch these lap down cars, that will slow them up, as Joe Munchell riding way up high. This is not for a position, but it is a good battle, and it looks like Curtis Egger is going to be able to prevail and keep that fourth, or it wasn't fourth position, but keep it out the wall at least. We'll see. We'll put our track map up so you can see where everybody is riding, and there you see the three right there at the end of that three car train right there. And here comes Stephen Light. Stephen Light is coming in to turn number 1 and 2, out of 2, down the backstretch, and they are just now into 3 and 4. So the leaders are coming very fast, and it's only a matter of time till we see him catch up with the 3 and the 69. So the 69 is in jeopardy of going 2 laps down, and Isaacs is in jeopardy of going 3 laps down if he can't keep Stephen Light at bay. Now, one thing that I do want to point out in the points now, 5 drivers on that leaderboard for the round of 8 are all white line racing. So they got a pretty darn good shot at one of their drivers winning this championship. And that'll be a really good move for white line. And there is our leader right now, Scott Healy. He has fallen off to about a second back. And Darren Bruce is going to be sitting about 3 seconds, a little over 3 seconds back from Scott Healy. And Curtis Ecker now about 15 seconds behind. So that means he is only going to be about 4 seconds ahead of the leaders to be and probably going to go a lap down. He is still running a pretty good lap time. He is making up a little bit of time on Darren Bruce, but he's got to pick up that pace, as Darren Bruce is running about 1963 compared to a 1965 or 1975, excuse me. But Curtis Egger has a little bit of lap traffic in front of him, so that's going to slow him down and allow these leaders to really catch up. And let's go back to the gap, and there you see now 16 seconds. So 3 seconds back is going to be the leader, and he has got Christopher Alkire right there. is Christopher Allgaier going to lay down and let him on by. Christopher Allgaier about 14 laps down. And Joe Munchel, almost a little bit of contact between these two. Joe Munchel is now 2 laps down. So even if Curtis does go another lap down, he still has a chance to get back in the lead lap if we do see a caution. Darren Bruce pretty much riding all by himself. There you see he's got over a half a track lead on Curtis Ecker. So he's got about 12-second lead on Curtis Ecker. So his position is pretty much locked in if he can not make any mistakes and keep that distance. Now I'm going to ride with, there you see the leader, and the leader's got 2 lap cars right there in front of him. Now, they can choose to race the leader, or they can just move right on out of the way. But there you see you have Chris Allgaier right there on the outside, and Chris Isaacs trying to keep himself from going 3 laps down. Chris Allgaier just to let the leader on by, and here he comes. Here comes Stephen Light. Going to be looking down low. Chris Isaacs going to be looking up high. Going to put the power down on the track, and they are going to be side by side. Ooh, it looks like he got into the wall just a little bit, and now Stephen Light is going to be putting him 3 laps down. Now we're going to ride with Stephen Light just for a moment. And there you see that 19 of Curtis Ecker. He has got to pick up the pace just a little bit more to stay on that lead lap. Now he does not have to let the leader right on by. If he doesn't want to, he can race him because he is a lead lap car fighting to stay on the lead lap. But Curtis Ecker being the nice guy that he is, he'll probably just let him ride right on by, considering he has no other challengers. You know, he might just say, go ahead. And if caution comes out, he'll be back on the lead lap. Joe Munchel and Nathan Lafayette, this is Ford position. They've been pretty much riding nose to tail. That's 2 Fords riding nose to tail. And this is going to be for the 5th position. If Nathan Lafayette, if he can get to the back bumper of the 69, he might be able to take that position away. But we only have 47 laps left to go, and the leader is coming to put that 19 a lap down. There you hear that shift, so Curtis Ecker is downshifting. He's going to take the bottom line for Steven up the track. Let's see how good of a run he can get off the corner. And it looks like he did not get the best of runs, but he is going to ride that high line and let the leader right on by. Oops, wrong camera. Give him a little bit of challenge coming in to turn number 3 out of turn number 4, and it looks like he went a lap down. Well, while we got a second here, we'll go ahead and look at those points one more time and show you how it's looking. So your top 3 in the race tonight is going to be Stephen Light, pretty much as it is right now. 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much as they are running on the track. Now, Curtis Ecker, he will advance to that 4th position because Cody Johnson is not here. And with this good finish, you know, he is going to be right there on that in that top 4. And that's where he wants to be. His goal here tonight, after talking to him, you know, before the race, his goal here tonight was to beat the guys that are below him, stay in front of Chris Isaacs, stay in front of Munchel. And he's doing a very good job of it. But they still have one more race to decide the Final 4. And that's going to be at Talladega next week. Same time, same place, right here on Southern Broadcasting Gaming Network. Ooh, Chris Isaacs is going to be really slow. Everybody had to go to the outside to make the pass. He is going to be 17 laps down. Chris Isaac's going to be 3 laps down. Nathan Lafayette, he is going to be 3 laps down. And Joel Munchel going to be 3 laps down. We're going to go back to Joel Munchel and Nathan Lafayette because this is a 2-car battle, and this is for the 5th position. And these 2 guys right here are going to be right there trying to get in the top 4. Less than 40 laps to go. We got about 38 laps to go. When the leader crosses over to start-finish line, we will have a 37. Biggest mover of the race is going to be Joe Munchel, and he is up 4 positions. It may not seem like a lot, but it is a pretty good accomplishment considering the track that we're at is not, maybe not the best track that everybody likes. That's why we don't have the turnout that we usually have. Oh, and Chris Isaacs got very tight coming into that corner, and I thought he was going straight to the wall, but he was able to keep it out. He was hard on those brakes. And let's go take a ride. I'm sorry, that was Allcar. And the 64, he is having the time of his life trying to make it around that 43 of Christopher Allcar. And there he is almost going to get side by side with Joe Munchel. And he is going to take that bottom lane and give Joe Munchel a run for his money. See if Joe Munchel can hang on to it. And now Joe Munchel is going to, oh, and he's going to spin it. Will that bring out the caution? Oh, goodness. Trying to take it easy to get back on the track. No caution flew, but we're going to go back and take a look at that. Wow. That was coming out of turn number 2, and he is spinning right there, and he is just going to hit that guardrail on the inside. No caution for that single car. Hope he's got that fast repair left. All right, so that's what happened to Christopher Allcar, and he is still out there on the track. I don't think he brought it into pits. Nope, no pits for him. He is going to keep that damage, and he is going to keep on rolling. Now, I can only imagine what the drivers around him were thinking, but still out front is going to be that Chevrolet of Stephen Light, that Toyota of Scott Healy, and Darren Bruce in that Ford Mustang. Curtis Ecker going to be in a 4th position. Joe Munchel, he is going to be still riding in the 5th position. Nathan Lafayette fell off just a little bit in his Ford Mustang, so he is going to be riding in 6th. Chris Isaacs is going to be coming into pits. He is 3 laps down, but he won't lose any positions for coming down pits because everybody is in front of him is 3 laps down, and Chris Allcar, he is going to be 17 laps down, so he won't lose any positions. Chris Allcar is going to be up 2 positions, riding in 8th. Mark Kincaid and James Manderud are going to be 9th and 10th. .27 laps to go here at North Wilkesboro, and it has been pretty much a domination by Stephen Light. Scott Healy did lead some laps, and as you heard from our little in-car interview, Stephen Light spun the tires, got those tires heated up, and he just fell off just a little bit and just started saving. That's how he was able to take the lead back over from Scott Healy. Now, could that be what Scott Healy's doing right now? Waiting for the right time to start pushing that Toyota. And he made up a little bit of ground, but he seems like he's a little bit slower off of turn number 4 than Stephen Light, and he makes up some time coming into the turn number 1, but he loses that time coming out of turn number 2. So it looks like Stephen Light has figured out the line coming off of turn number 2, but It looks like Scott Healy has found the line coming into 1 and 3. Well, still a few viewers out there on the stream. I appreciate y'all stopping by, spending your Wednesday evening with me. Hopefully your work week has started off well and continuing to be well as we are halfway through the work week. And Friday is almost here. So if you're off on the weekends, it's almost Friday. 22 laps to go here at North Wilkesboro. 1.2 seconds back, 1.2 seconds separate Stephen Light and Scott Healy. Darren Bruce is going to be about 11 seconds back, and it looks like he is catching Curtis Ecker. Yes, he is. Now, Darren Bruce is only about 8 seconds ahead of the leaders, so I don't think the leaders have enough time to put him a lap down. But as of right now, 3 cars on the lead lap, kind of like the truck race last night. Only 2 cars were on the lead lap at the end of Atlanta. $19 laps to go, and that time is extending from Stephen Light to Scott Healy. Now 1.3 seconds separate these two. Christopher Allgaier still out there on track, 17 laps down, and he's got that's Chris Isaacs right there behind him. Chris Isaacs 5 laps down, 3 laps down for Nathan Lafayette, 3 laps down for Joel Munchell. That was a pretty exciting battle earlier on, but they have gotten spread out. Will they have anything for each other within this 17 laps? We shall find out. Curtis Ecker still riding in at that 4th position. And he is going to let Darren Bruce ride on by. And Darren Bruce and Curtis Ecker have, it looks like Chris Isaacs and Chris Allgaier right there behind them. Chris Isaacs going to look to the low side, going to take that away from Christopher Allgaier. Christopher Allgaier not done yet. He's going to try to send it in, and it looks like that car, that Genesis car, number 3, was bouncing just a little bit in the middle of the corner of 1 and 2. Ooh, Christopher Allgaier had a little bit of a tight race car there as he went up the track and almost into the wall. 13 laps to go. And it has been a one-man show here tonight. Could this be our champion? As we only have 2 races left to go. His teammate right there behind him, Darren Bruce, riding in 3rd. And Curtis Ecker looking to bring home a 4th place as Chris Isaacs passing Curtis Ecker. That's not for a position, so no need to wave. Chris Isaacs probably... I can't say that. I'll say it. Chris Isaacs probably giving Curtis Ecker the finger in a joking manner because Curtis Ecker running in fourth and Isaacs down to seventh. So next week we'll find out who the friends are as we head into Talladega Super Speedway. Speedway action going to come to you right here on Southern Broadcast and Gaming Network next week, and then we will be headed to our championship race. So after this race, we only have 2 more races left for the season. Then we will crown that champion. And it's been some good racing throughout. Seven laps to go. Still about 1.3 seconds separate Light from Healy, and about 15 seconds, 14 for Healy to Bruce. Now, if we had any more laps left, I think Bruce would actually be a lap down because he's only about a straightaway ahead of the leaders, but he would go a lap down if we had any more laps left. But 6 to go here. Now 5 at the line. Curtis Eckert may be going if he had more laps, he would be going 2 laps down. So a lot of practice was put into this track, and it is definitely showing. 4 laps to go. It's definitely showing who did their homework here at North Wilkesboro. Now we're at 3 laps to go. Coming to 2. And there it is, 2 laps to go here, and this race will be all over. I know some of these drivers are going to be happy to see that, but this is a good little battle between these 2 right here, and we are coming to the white flag as Stephen Light is coming out of turn number 4. There it is, white flag is flying, and we got a pretty good battle between Joe Munchell and the 00 of Nathan Lafayette. Are we going to see a little bump and run? Maybe, but Nathan Lafayette going to look to go down low. Here they come out of turn number 4. Joe Munchell is going to take it, but here comes Stephen Light to take the checker flag, and he is going to bring home the win. Scott Healy going to be bringing home a second, and Darren Bruce going to be bringing home third. And here is that battle that we were looking at, and it looks like Joe Munchell going to be able to hang on to it. All right, since everybody is finished, we'll show you that finishing order, and it looks like this. Stephen Light going to bring home the win here at North Wilkesboro. First race in the round of 8. Scott Healy going to bring home second. Darren Bruce is going to bring home third. Curtis Ecker doing a really good job and bringing home fourth. So that's going to move him into the top 4 for the points. Joe Munchell going to bring home 5th. He was the biggest mover of the race. Congratulations on that, Joel. Nathan Lafayette, a little nice little last lap battle there, but Joel was able to keep the 5th position, and he finished in 2nd. Chris Isaacs finished 5 laps down, and he is going to finish in 7th. Christopher Alkire going to finish in 8th, 18 laps down. Mark Kincaid was able to put about 50 laps in and going to finish in 9th. And James Manderud, he is going to top off your 10. All right, just give me 1 second, and I will get our top three finishers. Hopefully, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring Joel Munchell up. He was up 4 positions from where he started. Let's bring him up and talk to him for just a moment while we have a few. Joel, this is Richard in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, you were up you were up 4 positions, and you finished in the top five. Man, North Wilkesboro, not a lot of cars to pass here, but you had a pretty good, last lap battle with the 00, and being that biggest mover, we just wanted to give you a shout out and let you talk to us about your race for a second.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was interesting. I was trying to fight him off, but I was running out of my right front tire, so it was getting really tricky.
Well, you definitely held him off, and he fell back just a little bit, and you were able to prevail. But man, good job. At least making it up 4 positions from where you started. You started in ninth and worked your way up to fifth. Not a bad job here, considering the race count. But man, biggest mover. I'll let you give a few shout outs if you like.
Yeah, just shout out for you guys for doing the broadcast. The guys put on the race, and my teammates at Shocker Motorsports let me hang out. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, that was Joel Munchell. He was the biggest mover of the race. We are going to bring up Darren Bruce. He finished in third, and let's see how he is feeling here tonight, finishing in that third place. Darren Bruce is Richard up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, third place is not a bad place to finish. You're still pretty much sitting 1, 2, and 3 in the points, or that's what the points would look like. You had Stephen Light in the top position, and you had Scott Healy, and you were sitting third there in the points. And it looks like it's going to carry on. You sitting in third in the points going into Talladega. But you did a really good job. It looks like if y'all would have had any more laps, you probably would have went a lap down yourself, but that didn't happen, and you were able to hang on to what you had. Tell us what was it like after that first after that caution? Did the car change a little bit? And it looks like you fell off more that second go around.
Nah, it was the same. I just didn't have it tonight. I'm not much on this Wilkesboro track. Steven, man, he was fast. I told him after the race, he put a whooping on us. That's all you can say about it.
Well, whooping or not, you are still hanging out in that top four, and that is going to be a fight to the finish, when it comes down to that championship race, because I believe you are going to be one of those people that may advance to that top four, that last four. But great job here tonight, holding on to what you had.
Yeah, I could stay with him a little bit on new tires, but after about 10 or 12 laps, his tires started dropping off a little bit. They just started easing away. On new tires where everybody's fast, I could kind of wing it and stay with them, but after the wear came in, they pulled away.
Well, either way, congratulations on that, holding on to that fourth position. Man, with those podium finishes, you can give some shout outs if you like.
Yeah, well, shout out to Trent for being my crew chief tonight. He helped me get up in there, kind of coached me along. I was kind of lost for what to do there, and thank you guys for the broadcast and Genesis Aviation for sponsoring the league, and my sponsors, Duckworth Barbecue and Select Seal Coating. And like I always want to thank my wife for letting me do this, and give a shout out to them grandkids, Sarah Beth, Alyssa, Colty, and Anissa.
Absolutely. Well, we did bring Trent up into the booth and talk to him for a little bit, and he said you were going to kind of save. But with it being a short track, I was not able to grab you after my interview with Steven. But I was able to bring you crew chief, and he did throw us some information about what was going on with your race car. So tell him thank you for that, and man, we'll let you go celebrate that third place finish, and we will catch you next week at Talladega.
All right, thanks, Richard.
All right, that was going to be Darren Bruce, our third place finisher. We got Scott Healy coming up into the booth now. Let's see how his race went. Finishing in second, that's not too bad at all. Scott, this is Richard up in the booth. You got a copy.
Hey, what's up, man?
Well, you did a good job here tonight, and it looks like Stephen was able to bring home the win. It looks like your car just fell off just a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about that first half and a little bit about the second half. What changed with your race car that it fell off?
So the reason why it fell off is because I hit the wall. I think it was twice this race, and it just lost momentum. Probably a little bit of damage on the right side. Other than that, I mean, I had the speed, I had the run. Just Steven was better on the long run. He gave me some tips here and there, so I just followed him, and he was just faster. So, um, shout out to him for the win. It was a good battle. Trying to get up there towards the end, but my car was just not there. Plus, the track was really bumpy, trying to keep it straight. So, again, shout out for him for winning tonight.
Absolutely. It looks like that turn four did collect a few cars, one early on, and one right there. I think it happened almost right there in front of y'all. That was Chris Alkire. He went. That was actually off of turn number 2 on the backstretch. He went straight to the inside guardrail, and yeah, I thought that was going to bring out a caution, and that would have changed up the whole dynamic of the race. But 3 cars on the lead lap. Y'all made some moves, and congratulations on that. You're still going to probably hold second place in the points going into Talladega next week. How you feeling about that?
Pretty good, especially when I'm second in the playoffs. So gives me a little bit of buffer room just in case anything goes south, like me getting wrecked or whatever. Um, but it should be good. These guys are pretty good keeping it straight. Some of them are, I know it's controller based, but um, overall they try to do their best. So I just gotta avoid wrecks and just keep it straight. And if I get into a wreck, well, at least I got some buffer room.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you get back down there to your team and celebrate, and we're gonna bring up our race winner. Thank you for joining us up in the booth. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night, man.
You too. All right. Well, that was Scott Healy. I can't remember if I gave him his shout outs. If not, I'll ask him to remind me next week to let him do that. But we're going to bring up our race winner, and that is going to be Mr. Stephen Light. Did a really good job, dominated this whole thing. Give me a second, and I'll get him up here.
When it starts.
Ooh, I pulled you into the booth right on time. Stephen, you did a really good job. You pretty much dominated this whole race. That Chevrolet Camaro, was really moving. You had some lap traffic, but that did not kill your times at all. And you only had 3 cars on the lead lap. Tell us how that second half of that race went for you, because we talked to you right there at the stage break.
Yeah, it was a good race. Everybody did a really good job. Obviously, we went caution free there, not counting the stage break. I saw 1 or 2 guys spin. I was kind of hoping for a caution to bunch everybody else back up and have a little more of a race there at the end for everybody. But, that place is really bad on tires. It wears them out really fast. And I don't know. I guess after testing and practicing, I kind of just knew how far the lap times were going to fall off later in the run. And I practiced backing the corners up and trying not to overbrake the car, just let it roll, let it turn itself, and end up being really good on the longer run doing that versus everybody that was overdriving the corner and burning the right front up. It was kind of funny. I was in the chat with Scott there the start of the race. I had a bad start. I spun my tires at the initial start, and he got in front of me, and he started driving away. And about lap 10 or 12, I started laughing because I knew he was wearing his right front out. And why are you laughing? I said, well, I'm laughing because in about 15 laps, I'm gonna be waving to you in my mirror. And he was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm just faster. And then about lap 30, 35, I got to him and went by, and he's like, damn it, I messed up, didn't I? I was like, yes, sir.
Well, he did say he did scrape the wall just a little bit and may have gave him some right front damage. But either way, that was a really good race. You're the leader in the points. He's right there in second. So your team is first and second in the points. You still have Darren Bruce tagging along at third, and you're probably going to have Curtis Ecker in that final four. After tonight's race, because he did finish in fourth, and Cody Johnson was not here for tonight's race. So Talladega might be a whole different ball game. What are you thinking about that?
I'm just glad I don't have to worry about it. My goal tonight was, we obviously expected more people tonight, but there was another race that conflicted with a lot of people that, fortunately, most of them that couldn't come tonight weren't in the playoffs, so it didn't hurt the playoff format other than Cody Brown. But Talladega, I really wanted to go in there and not have to worry too much about points. Obviously, if you have a 20, 25 car field there, you can be in trouble real quick as far as the top four in points go, especially starting this race so tight from first to, I think it was only 9-point spread from first to eighth when we started this race at North Wilkesboro. My goal tonight, if I wasn't going to win, if I couldn't win or didn't win, I wanted to make sure I could maximize the points. I said, let's try to put a solid lap in qualifying, get those 5 bonus points. Let's play us. Fortunately, fuel was not a problem tonight. We didn't have to worry about fuel, so there was no really strategy other than if there had been a caution, I'm sure everybody would have pitted for tires and would have changed things up a little bit. But I wanted to make sure I could maximize trying to sit on the pole for those points and then trying to get as many stage points as possible. So that way, if I didn't win the race, to lock myself into Homestead, I could at least have a little bit of a point edge going into Talladega, because no one's happy going into Talladega right now except me. I can promise you.
Absolutely. Well, great job here tonight at North Wilkesboro, man. And I'm going to let you give all the shout outs that you would like to give. You definitely earned it. You put quite a few people multiple laps down, and you almost put fourth place 2 laps down. So all the shout outs you would like to give, my friend, you earned them.
Thank you, Chris Isaacs, for the bad to the bone paint jobs, and my teammates, Chris and Scott, and everybody else, Mark. Appreciate them all being there, and appreciate your broadcasting, man. Richard, you do a really good job up there. I know tonight couldn't have been easy with a small field. I'm sure you did a good job on there trying to create some excitement where there really wasn't. So I can only imagine, and looking forward to doing some broadcasting with you in the future. Also, at some other tracks.
Absolutely, looking forward to that also. Well, we will let you get down with your teammate and celebrate a little bit more and talk about your strategy for next week, and hope to talk to you soon.
Appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right, that was our race winner, Mr. Stephen Light. Did a really good job of leading the most laps. He's happy while going into Talladega. Probably going to have a bigger field, so make sure you definitely tune into that race, because we only have 2 races left in the season, and it's going to be, a battle to the finish. The top 4, is still unknown. As we go into Talladega, we can pretty much know that Steven is probably going to be locked himself into that number 1 spot. But Scott Healy, Darren Bruce, and Curtis Ecker moving up. There's going to be a lot of drivers wanting that 4th spot and even that 3rd spot. But congratulations to our biggest mover, Joel Munchell. Congratulations to Curtis making that top 4. And Darren Bruce, Scott Healy, and Stephen Light on the podium finishes. But that's gonna be our broadcast for the night. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Definitely come back. We definitely want to give a shout out to Jack Nudemacher. He threw down a resubscribe on his Prime for 2 months. Thank you, Jack. I know you always tune in to the broadcast. If it's over here if it's over here Old Glory, 4 Wide, whatever broadcast I'm broadcasting, they always show up. Also, we had a raid with Mr. Repeat 1975. Definitely go check him out. He does put on great broadcasts also on the iRacing side. So he rated us for a little while with a party of 8. But that's going to conclude our broadcast for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe to help us get our content out there. And we will see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night. Have a good rest of your work week. And peace out. And God bless.